Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, then welcome. My name's Christina and on my channel we talk all things beauty from my own experiences. And today we have our second update for the project pan for 2024. If you guys have not seen my videos yet, I am in the middle of a project pan. I have two videos so far introducing it as well as my first update. So we're coming up to almost 2 months since our first update. And the reason being is because I wanted to make a little bit more of a dent in my makeup, and you will see there has been a lot of progress in some of them and like absolutely none in other products. So let's get started. If you guys enjoy this type of content, please make sure you subscribe to my channel. As always, I will have everything linked in the description box down below for you if you're interested in seeing any of that. Whenever you shop through my links, they are affiliate links and I really appreciate when you guys do, but there's absolutely no obligation to shop through them. They're just there for you guys if you want them. Okay, our first product is going to be this one. This is the Mercier Ultra Blur Pressed Powder, and you guys... This one, oh, this is so bad. This is terrible. So I traveled with this last month and on the way home, I guess it just completely shattered because look at it now. This is what my pressed powder looks like now. It's completely crumbled up and shattered. I've still been using this because I love this powder as well as the fact that it's in the project pan, and I've kind of been stumped on what to do with this. Have you guys ever encountered this in your project pan or just in general? What do you do when your product just completely shatters like this? I was considering like crushing it up, but every time I've done that in the past, like crushed it up and like press it back together, the payoff is just so different. So I think that what I want to do is maybe put this in a container and use it almost like, you know, like the powder ball things. Like, what am I thinking of? I think Guerlain has it, Physicians Formula has one, Chanel has it. You know what I'm talking about? They're like different colored beads and you kind of just swirl your brush in there. You think I can do that with this? Like, I'm sure I can, but I'm not sure how we're going to determine how much this is being used up anymore. If I'm being completely honest, I considered kind of piecing it together to take a photo of it, just like see how much we've used, but I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do. But clearly, we have made a huge dent in this. Like, all things considered, really not a lot of powder when I like opened this back up once it had smashed. Not a lot of it like came out. So I feel like this is still a pretty good representation of how much I've used, but kind of putting it into place a little bit there for you guys. I'm so scared that this is gonna just fall everywhere. You can see I have used a ton of this, regardless of it being crushed. I think that we've done a pretty good number on this. This is just so funny to me. Let me know what you guys would do in this situation. I definitely am going to continue to use this and like use it up. But should I just keep it in here like this? Should I crush it up more and just like keep it in here? Should I put it in a different container? Let me know. Let me know what you guys think. Next up, we have the Sigma Color Correcting Duo in the shade Medium to Dark. You guys know I love this, and I think we are making really, really good progress on this. I almost want to call this like the edges. Like, I feel like we are dangerously close to just being on the edges of this product, and I absolutely love this color corrector still. It's still one of the best. It just gives the most pigmentation where I need it the most. For me, I use this color corrector mainly on my hyperpigmentation and acne scarring, not so much on my under eyes. I mean, I still do use it on my under eyes, but I don't feel like it's as necessary as on my hyperpigmentation and acne spots. I love the texture of this. It's slightly tacky, so it stays in place whenever you smooth on other complexion products on top of it. They're super easy to mix, and you can get your perfect shade match or perfect color correcting match, I should say, just by mixing these two. You can use it with your finger. I like to use it with a brush, specifically the BK A506 brush. It's just the best. I already have a backup of this because I I can't go without this. I am so pleased with this. Every time I open this up, I'm like, yes, I get to use a little bit more of this to see the progress of it. I don't remember what our progress photos look like from the first update, but I am positive that we have made a significant dent in this. Whenever I was traveling last month, I did use very, very minimal makeup, but every time I wore makeup, I did use my color corrector because it's just great for really easy color correcting, just evening out the face. And you can put concealer on top of this, or you can put foundation on top of this, whatever you prefer. Next, we have the Tower 28 Sculptino in the shade Getty. Now this one, I did use a few times the last couple of weeks. To be honest, I kind of forgot about it just because I've been playing around with a lot of cream bronzers and like cream contours and stuff like that. I sort of forgot about this, I'm not gonna lie, but I still feel like there is a noticeable difference from the last time, at least from my memory. You can really see like it's starting to form a really big gap here. It almost looks like a little donut. I did notice that while I was traveling, when I got a little bit more tan from like walking around and being outdoors, this started to look a little bit gray on me, which I had never experienced with this before, which is interesting because overall, this is not a very gray contour, but I think at a certain point, this specific shade on me started to get a little bit gray. I'm sure the shade deeper than this wouldn't have that same effect if you are a deeper complexion than I am. But I thought it was interesting, and I think that just played a role in me not really reaching for this as much the last couple of weeks. But I did pull this back out the last week and a half, I want to say, and I have been using it, but I've been using it very, very sparingly, specifically just a little bit here, like in the contours of my cheek, not really on my forehead, and slightly on my jawline as well, but that's about it. I still think that looks really, really good, and just for the sake of using the product, I wanted to make sure that I sort of incorporated it somehow. So just a little insight for you guys that I thought was pretty interesting. Next, we have my Makeup by Mario, the Perfect Brown Eyeliner, and this thing, you guys, is so funny because the more and the more I sharpen this, the more the actual pencil like just doesn't want to stay in place. Whenever I started this project pan, we already established that this is loose. I wonder if it'll come out. I have to kind of take it out right now. So it is loose. It's not connected anymore. It's like broken, but the actual pencil still works. Like it's still gliding on pretty well. I will say though, I'm noticing that it's starting to dry out very slightly. And the only reason why I can see that is whenever I do my winged liner, typically I will do my wing, I'll just smudge a little bit, and then I will take the other end and just quickly like flick it out, and it gives me the perfect smudged out, beautiful brown wing. But lately, I've been having to go back and forth with the brush a little bit more and going in with a little bit more product than usual. I think that's pretty normal, especially when we're considering the fact that we are pretty much down to the last itty bitty nub of this thing. So with that considered, I think it's been doing really well. It still tight lines perfectly, don't get me wrong. Like the product is still usable, and I'm going to continue using it, and I'm gonna keep it in the project pan until it's just like absolutely dried out or until I use it up completely. So this one I think we've made a noticeable difference in, like a very big dent. Before you could still see the name of it, the Perfect Brown, like at least a couple letters, but now it's completely gone. So that's pretty cool. This is the most I've ever used a pencil liner, by the way, like ever in my life. It wasn't until the last couple years that I started using pencil liner. Before that, I would strictly use liquid liner. So this is really cool to see like the actual physical change of the liner. So I did mean to mention the last update, I did say that I was going to put these two products on pause, mainly because the textures of these just weren't really vibing with how hot and humid it's been recently. And I also didn't take these with me traveling because when I went to Japan, I knew that it was going to be super humid, and I just knew that these wouldn't work very well in such a tropical climate. So I did leave these at home, and I haven't touched them since, to be quite honest with you guys. These are the two that we have on pause. They are still in my books, part of the project pan. I'm just probably not going to reach for them for another, I would say at least another month or so. No progress on these, but they're still in the lineup. our Haus Labs Fire Moon blush. This is one of the Color Fuse blushes. I did take this traveling with me. I still reach for this pretty often. It's still one of my top shades and top formulas for a powder blush. Last time I mentioned that you couldn't really see a significant difference in the actual blush. The most that you could see is just that the H is slightly more faded, and I could say the same thing. The H is slightly more faded, but really, I don't know if you guys can even tell. Just trust me when I say I am making some pretty good progress on this thing. I won't be surprised if in a couple of months we start seeing a very significant dent right in the center there. I'll show you guys a close-up of this anyways, even though I don't feel like you're going to be able to see much of a difference, but here is that update in case you want to see it. And I'll give you guys the side profile as well in case you can kind of tell that it's starting to sort of flatten out right there at the middle of the H. But still a really beautiful, beautiful powder blush. I just love this, especially when I'm not sure what to wear that day, or if I have an eye makeup look that I'm like, I don't know what blush color to use. This is such a beautiful one because it is more on that nude beigey side of things, slightly darker than your average like nude blush, but I think it works so well for my complexion because anything lighter may just look like almost like a pressed powder that's slightly colored. So I found my Summer Fridays lip butter balm very shortly after filming that update video, the first one. And I've been using it pretty consistently. I have it on my lips right now with another lip liner that is in this project pan. And I was trying to gauge how much I've used. And in my initial video, I was able to like squeeze the tube and let out like the excess air to show you guys where we were starting off. And ever since then, I haven't been able to do that. Like every time I press on it, product comes out. So I'm kind of confused what happened there. Like, I don't know why I can no longer press it down. I can press it sideways. I don't know if that means anything to you guys, but yeah, I don't know. Oh, okay, hold on. If I push from the bottom and then I'll cap it. Here we go. Okay, so that's how much product we've used. I know that this is not an accurate representation of how much product is in here, but I think this is the best we're gonna get here, guys. So I'd assume most of the product is in this area. I'm sure we have some seepage right on the outer corners right there, but this, I think we're going strong. There's a lot of product in here. I'm not gonna lie. I'm realizing, you guys, that while these lip butter balms are more on the expensive side for lip balms in Sephora and just in general, there's so much product that's in here. It's kind of insane. I think this was my first lip butter balm from Summer Fridays, and I still have so much of it left over. So while it's very expensive up front, I think you'll definitely get your money's worth with the amount that you get out of this. Okay, our Bareminerals lip liner. Again, this is a discontinued one, but I still really love this. In our progress photos, you can see I didn't make a huge difference, like a huge dent on this. I'm not sure why. I think it's because I have been using a bunch of different lip liners. And to be honest with you guys, I think I forgot about it again. Whenever I do remember it, I'm like, oh shoot, I need to use this, and I'll use it for like a day or two, and then I'll like switch back to another lip liner, you know, same story. But we are slowly making progress with this. I am still using this. I still love this lip liner shade. I'm gonna swatch the lip liners that we have in this project pan for you guys, but this is the Bareminerals one. It's just such a beautiful, kind of cooler, neutral tone on my lips. And I think that it goes well with so many different lip colors, specifically because this almost matches the outer outline of my natural lips. So it sort of defines it a little bit more, makes it a little more even. And then I can kind of go in to my lips and give my lips a little bit more depth because I don't have a lot of pigmentation in my lips anymore. So this is really nice to just kind of bring all of that back. The other lip liners that we have here, I made some pretty good progress on these. The Glossier Lip Liner in the shade Buff, it's what I have on right now with that Summer Fridays Lip Butter Balm. This is the shade buff, as you can see, it's a little bit more on the brown side of things versus being a neutral beige tone. So this is Glossier Buff. That is the Bareminerals one. So you can see a little bit of progress on this in the progress photos. I feel like I use this a lot more than what the photos are showing me, but I don't know, I guess that kind of puts into perspective like just how much product. So whenever I use this, it's creamy, but I guess it's not using up a lot of the product at one time. So I feel like this is actually going to last me a fairly long time. This one though is very creamy, and I feel like I have to sharpen this pretty often. This is the Maybelline Lip Liner in the shade Let's Bounce, and this is going to be the darkest of all of them. I would say it's definitely a dark milk chocolate brown. Almost looks like it pulls a little bit red, a little bit purple, almost like mauve. Do you guys see that? But I love this. I think it's so comfortable on the lips, really, really creamy. But in saying that it's creamy, you do use a good amount of this product, but I'm not really pressed about it, especially because it is drugstore. You can sometimes find these on some sort of deal at Ulta. So I think that even though this seems like the one that I'm going through the fastest, it's still definitely worth it. And plus, it lasts on the lips for so long. So I don't like have to reapply it or anything throughout the day. I just really, really like this lip liner. And I still think if you have not tried one of these lip liners yet, you should. You definitely should. The range of shades that they have is actually really, really beautiful. I think that they did the lip liner shades so well. And it's very comparable to the Fenty Beauty lip liners. So I like this a lot. All right, next we have the Sephora Collection Contour Stick. This is in the shade Medium to Tan, and this has pretty much stayed exactly where it was the last update. As you guys can tell from the photos, I just like drew an arrow and I dated it because it pretty much hasn't moved. And I have used this since then, but I think the fact that this is just so creamy, you just don't have to use that much of it. Like literally just a dab of this, watch. Like I'm just gonna go like this. Oh, that didn't actually come off a lot. I feel like when you use this on your skin, like on your face, you don't need a lot of this. If anything, like you just need a little flick like that, and that's already a ton of pigmentation. So I think because this color payoff is just so intense, we're not going to see a lot of movement in terms of how much is used up. At least that's my thought process. That is my prediction, especially because if you can see right there, it is quite a dark brown contour. And as I get more light throughout the next couple of months, I'm probably only going to need like half of this amount on my skin. So I'm pretty sure that the progress on this is going to slow down quite a bit in the next couple of months. But I promise you guys, I'm going to continue to use it. It is still a really great contour, creamy, blendable. I think that this is just such a great product. And it's really nice to travel with as well. I just really enjoy traveling with like a stick product. Same thing goes with the Merit Flush Balm. Just drew an arrow for this one. It's pretty much stayed in the exact same spot as it did last update. And I think a big reason is because I did not take this one with me when I went to travel. I left this one at home again because this is definitely more on the balmy side. I knew I was going to a more humid climate. And since I've been home, I haven't reached for it. I've gotten a lot of different blushes that I've been using recently and testing out and playing with. So I really need to prioritize this one. I think I'm going to get a lot of use out of this during the colder months though, specifically because of the color. I just think that this gives me, my complexion, a really nice, beautiful, natural flush, almost like I was like out in the cold, you know, definitely gives you that sort of vibe. So I'm excited to use this. I think I've also said that this kind of gives me a sunburnt look. Just in general, it gives me a slightly like irritated cheek look that I actually really enjoy. And the fact that it is going to be cooler, slightly drier, I think this is going to work exceptionally during the colder months. And our first empty, you guys, our first empty from Project Pan. This is the Phlur Missing Person Eau de Parfum. This is just the travel size, but I think that this is really impressive for me because I don't go through perfumes, even travel sizes. I don't go through them. I have recently started to use perfumes and like fragrances a lot more. I'm like experimenting with a lot of them. I'm just kind of exploring that realm a little bit more. And this has just been a staple through all of that, through all the experimentation and testing and stuff. This is such a great, great scent. I know a lot of people, it's hit or miss. Some people say this smells like mothballs. Some people say that this smells like a clean, like just like you type of fragrance, you know? I'm on that side of things where I feel like it's a very light, very soft fragrance that just smells very natural on the skin. And I really enjoyed layering this with other perfumes. I feel like this kind of gives other perfumes a little bit of a more unique scent to you, like a more individualistic scent, because this seems like one of those scents that could become almost a signature scent because it smells so natural. Is that a thing with fragrances? I'm sure that there's a specific definition here that I'm completely missing, but with that aside, I really like this, and I planned on repurchasing this after I went through a couple more fragrances, hopefully. But Phlur actually sent me the full size of this. I was very, very grateful and honestly very surprised because, little story time for you guys, I was going to pack my Phlur father figure scent for a trip, could not find it. I mentioned it in my pack with me video. But then shortly after that, I found it. But between that time, Phlur had reached out saying that they would love to replace that fragrance for me. And I was mind blown. And I said, yes, of course, absolutely. I would love to receive a replacement. And when they sent it, they sent me father figure and they sent me missing person, full sizes. I am so grateful. I am so grateful because Phlur so far has been like one of my top contenders when it comes to fragrances, because every fragrance that I've tried from them, except for maybe one, have been like home runs for me. They have been game changers. I have loved every single one I have tried. I am so impressed by this fragrance house. I just love it. I love it and I'm grateful, and I'm excited to dip into the other ones or the new bottles that they sent me. All right, guys, that was everything. That was our full update number 2 on the Project Pan. I'm pretty happy with the progress. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like I did way more damage than what my progress photos are showing me, but I know these things take time. And I feel like these last 2 months of using these products have been really enlightening for me. I think I'm learning a lot more about the products, which again was one of the reasons why I wanted to do the Project Pan, so I could learn all these products a little bit more throughout multiple months, multiple seasons with constant use. I feel like really gives you a better sense of how these things work day to day to day to day. So yeah, I'm very happy about this. Let me know how you guys are doing on your Project Pans. Some of you have shared with me that you're also doing a Project Pan or that you've wanted to start doing a Project Pan. Let me know in the comments down below how that is going. What are you guys thinking about your products? Are you thinking that you put too many products in your list, or are you adding more things as you go? Let me know. I feel like it's so fun to talk about this because I just feel like we're a little Project Pan community, just going through all of our products and, you know, just slowly checking things off of our list, which just feels so good. All right, guys, that is everything for this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you enjoyed it, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos like this one. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.